Welcome to episode 113 of the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business. I'm Brian Fisher. In the previous episode, 112, our guest was Kevin Dean, discussing AI-driven strategies. Today's episode discusses high-stakes logistics with Colby Varley. This podcast series is targeted to business owners and C-suite executives. It reflects my 34 years as a business owner and subsequent years as a business mentor and consultant. It focuses on the various subjects and topics to help you run a successful, profitable business. They're approximately 15 minutes long, so you can listen while commuting. Hopefully, you'll find one or two takeaways to implement per episode. Based out of Salinas, California, Colby Varley is the Vice President of Advanced Transportation Services. They specialize in transporting highly perishable food and produce. Colby offers invaluable insights into the logistics industry, the importance of maintaining high service standards, and the evolving nature of freight transportation. His ability to articulate complex industry dynamics in an engaging and relatable manner makes him a compelling speaker for a wide range of audiences. He excels in creating strong relationships, ensuring white-glove service that prioritizes quality over cost. His commitment to excellence extends to the carrier partners ATS collaborates with, emphasizing value and reliability over mere affordability. Colby's intimate knowledge of every operational detail, from loading trucks to final deliveries, sets him apart in an industry often dominated by those without direct field experience. Let's welcome Colby Varley. Colby, welcome to the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Hey, Brian, thanks so much for having me. So happy to be here with you.
Thanks for joining us today, Colby. Colby, I'm always interested in people's stories. What's your background in becoming the Vice President of Advanced Transportation Services?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So my father's in produce sales. He's still a produce broker. So grew up in and around produce sales office my entire childhood. Also born and raised here in Salinas, California, which is the salad bowl of the world. Obviously, besides salads, there's multiple bush berries, strawberries, but any of your major vegetables most likely are grown here in Salinas for a majority of the year. So after high school, decided to get into transportation, got a job at a local asset-based company while I was continuing my higher education at Fresno State. Graduated there with the ag business degree and just came right home and went to work for that local asset-based company. And we were servicing the San Francisco and Los Angeles produce markets, but with a specific niche in LTL. So I kind of grew up or started my transportation career in probably, in my opinion, one of the harder produce refrigerated transportation aspects. So just to give you an idea, I mean, we were doing things like that FedEx and UPS can't do with just a normal parcel, right? You know, you hear like, oh, we want overnight delivery. Okay, you have to have your parcel to FedEx by 4 p.m. to guarantee 8 a.m. delivery or 10 a.m. delivery the next day. And we were doing, we would have 6, 7, 8 customers on a truck with 4 or 5 pickups and 7, 8 deliveries going to LAX, and we wouldn't get out of Salinas until, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and we would start delivering into LAX at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So the complexity of doing that really fast-tracked my career, I think. I started and learned on probably the hardest business model that you could do in produce. And we were really, really successful at it. The owners of that company had been doing it since the early 90s, really understood it. We had a force of bobtail trucks, docks located strategically in different growing areas, allowing us to mix the trucks, but started out as just a local pickup driver, picking, here locally in Salinas, bringing it back to the consolidation center. So you really start to understand, okay, how many boxes of lettuce come on a pallet? How much does it weigh? How many boxes of strawberries come on a pallet? What are the different pack sizes? Lettuce, is it cello wrapped, liner? You start to learn all this stuff, but you're actually seeing it because you're doing it, right? It's not, you're just reading it out of a book. I mean, you're there picking it up. So you really see and learn, I believe, at a faster rate. So work there, continued, went from local driver. I got my class A. I started doing deliveries up in San Francisco. I would load trucks, and that really was a great learning lesson. How many pallets fit in the truck? How do you load them? Chimney block, sideways, straight in, how to distribute the weight properly so that you're not overweight. And then started working on the night dispatch. So kind of pushing these trucks through their pickups, getting them on the road, getting them down to their deliveries. And what really made it interesting then is some of the places, obviously, I had picked up at a lot of them. So I knew where they were. Like I could picture it in my brain. And then as well as some of the deliveries, and then started working during the daytime, just kind of dispatching. And then ultimately, I was building the loads with LTL. So that was really an eye-opening experience because I could see an order and know what it weighed, how high it was. Okay, could I stack another 10 boxes of somebody else's stuff on top of that? Like to really maximize our efficiency. And then had the opportunity to come to ATS and give a shot at sales, which we pretty much specialize in over the road. We do some multi-pick, multi-drop, but most of our stuff is one pick, one drop, or two pick, one drop type loads. So for me, it was like really simple, right? The simplicity of it from coming from something that's just so complex that it wasn't as, I don't want to say as hard if someone just starting out that doesn't, never been in the business. Had a really great few years, hit the phones hard, hit the conferences, networked, made a great book of business. Also, same thing on my vendor side. Like I have a great carrier group that is loyal to me, that I take care of. They take care of me, which has enabled me to build my business. And the leadership here at ATS was ready to kind of retire, and we were able to put a deal together where let them go on their way and we could continue to carry the torch. It's been 40 years and we want to continue it another 40.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This episode's topic is high stakes logistics. You're in a price driven industry. How do you maintain commitment to premium service, and what challenges come with prioritizing quality over cost?
Yeah, Brian, we are known as the white glove service kind of in our industry. We are not the cheap guys. We do not want to be those guys. And we want our reputation is basically, you are going to pay probably a little bit more, but the service and the commitment, and that we're going to pick it up and we're going to deliver on what we say we're going to do. And that's been a successful business model for us. I'm not bashing anybody else's business model, but we've had an effective business model for 40 years. And we really believe in quality and service. It's no different than any other service-based industry, whether you're a plumber or electrician or a builder. Some guys charge more than others, but we feel that we really do go the extra mile and deliver. And I think a lot of that is when things get really hard, things kind of go sideways out of everybody's control, how it's handled. We'll be the first carrier if we burn down a load or we make a mistake, we accept responsibility. I'm not going to refer you to my insurance company. We're going to write you the check and send it to you, and I'm going to go deal with the insurance company because I need my customer to keep selling, not fight with an insurance company.
Following up on that, as you mentioned, building strong relationships is a key part of your leadership strategy. What advice would you give to leaders looking to cultivate those types of relationships in their own industries?
That's the pinnacle of our business. And to that, I can say they're not built overnight. They take a really long time, something that you have to consistently work at, constantly work at. but it's been one of those things from my experience. Like if you keep doing the right things are going to happen. I know sometimes in the moment it doesn't feel like that, but relationships are something you just have to work at. And without those, you're not going to be successful.
We're speaking with Colby Varley, Vice President of Advanced Transportation Services. Colby, how do you balance the need for hands-on involvement with the broader strategic vision of the company?
Yeah, another great question. So obviously at the end of the day, our company is driven on sales. Without sales, it doesn't exist. So a majority of our time is spent on sales, during normal business hours. But there is obviously the other part of that. You have to put in the extra work, to your point, strategically drive the company. Where are we going? What are our goals? How are we going to get there? So a lot of that's kind of spent in some after hours time where sales are not ideal. So mostly in the afternoons, evenings, my partner and I can get together and figure out where we're going, how we're going to get there. There's definitely a balance, but at the end of the day, without sales, there's no company.
Colby, what role does trust and communication play in your leadership philosophy, especially when it comes to managing teams and partnerships in such a fast-paced, high-pressure industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's along with relationships, the trust, that's pinnacle. Do what you say you're going to do, deliver on it. And if you can't, you got to speak up and say, hey, here's how we're going to make it right. But that's one of the ways that we've been able to be so successful is through that. Our word is our bond. I mean, that's just how this industry works, and that's all you have.
Looking back on your career, is there a particular moment or lesson that stands out as being pivotal in shaping your leadership approach and success?
I think, when we took over and were able to acquire ATS, I had to really change my mindset from, okay, I was just a sales guy, right? I just focused on sales all the time. That's all I was worried about. But now I have 38 other employees and their families that I have to make the right decisions on a broader, bigger level. And it's not just really about me or my customer or my carriers anymore. Got a lot of other people counting on us, and that's been eye-opening for sure.
We're speaking with Colby Varley, Vice President of Advanced Transportation Services. Colby, is there anything I've not asked that you'd like to add?
No, it's been a great show. I've had a great time talking to you, and hope you could have me back.
It'd be a pleasure, Colby. How can people get in contact with you, Colby?
I'm on all social media websites. We have a advancedtransportationservices.com website, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those networks. We're on them.
Colby, thank you for joining us today on the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Thanks so much.
My sincere thanks to Colby Varley for joining us today. Managing the performance of your company is one of the most important things you do as a leader. This podcast is on YouTube and over 20 podcast directories. In search, type BCF ORG. Be sure to leave a space between BCF and ORG. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow the podcast. If you'd like to reach out to me for business mentoring or consulting, schedule a speaking engagement, ask questions, make comments, suggest ideas, or potentially be a guest like Colby, please go to bcforg.com. There's a red Contact Us button in the middle of the homepage. All the podcasts are available by clicking on the website podcast page in the reference bar. These podcasts will be released the first and third Tuesday each month. In our next episode, 114, our guest will be Jason Kruger, discussing business financial insights. In business, running a successful, profitable business is the ultimate scorecard. You are never done and can always be better. It tends to be more fun than work, frustrating at times, but can be very rewarding. And don't underestimate the value of a business plan and financial planning. From BCF ORG Corp., I'm Brian Fisher, wishing you the best. Thanks.